between a libertarian and a Republican. Welcome to Publitarian Podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Ronald Johnson, Publitarian, coming at you again with another episode of Publitarian Podcast, and we're up to episode number 90. Not really sure what I'm going to call this yet. The Publitarian Mobile Studio today, and I am still going to be offering you guys words of encouragement. Not words of delusion, but words of encouragement, because if anybody is a Publitarian Podcast listener, assuming they either on the Trump train, but or at least not on the slow Joe Biden not express. So anyway, I don't have any show notes or anything today, so I'll just be doing my random ramblings, and I don't have any editing capabilities either. So whatever you hear. So that should be fun. The temperature I'm getting from a lot of people on the right now, and if you're listening to this podcast, this is a few days after the 2020 election. I'm getting waves of people that feel defeated, deflated, depression, people, not wanting to fly their MAGA flags anymore or whatever. But the overwhelming majority that I'm seeing for people are people that are ready to freaking go to war, metaphorically, don't want to get in trouble here on my podcast, and fight for this country and fight for the president that fought for them. And it's really interesting seeing where people on the right are aligning themselves. I am extremely disappointed in Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel coming out and congratulating Joe Biden for becoming president. Hey, look, I know that self-preservation is all a part of, human DNA. But at the same time, Israel hasn't had a better friend in the United States than Donald Trump. And I think that was way too early, especially when you've got, countries like even Mexico and Russia and other countries going we can congratulate nobody till we see the results. And that's pretty much what everybody else is too. Keep in mind, for all the media bluster, all of the gaslighting that you're hearing from the mainstream news media, keep two things in mind before I continue on with the podcast. One, this is all just gaslighting right now. The stuff that you're seeing isn't news. It's gaslighting. It's projecting is not declaring, projecting that Joe Biden is the president-elect. Not a single vote as of the recording of this podcast, Monday, November 9th, has been recorded for Biden. Matter of fact, Arizona is very much in play right now. Biden's lead, quote-unquote, is starting to dwindle now that the election is being supervised and they're counting all the votes. Trump's getting like a 60-40 split right now while they're counting the votes. If Arizona flips, this thing's back in play because Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and of course Pennsylvania, which is the Florida of 2000 election, is very much in play right now. So I don't want to give people false hope, but at the same time, this thing is far from over, and a winner has not been declared. Actually, a winner isn't declared until December 14th, constitutionally, when the electors have to meet. So if there are court fights and battles and things to have, they need to start happening, because there's only so many days to do it and to challenge it. Obviously, we all know President Trump is going to fight this because that's what he is. He's a fighter. Oh, anyway, I didn't get to point two about my about listening to the media. So, point number one, what you're seeing here is all gaslighting by the media, having a winner projected for them. Point number two, the media does not pick the president. The media also did this in the year 2000. They projected Al Gore the president. Do you guys remember President Gore? Yeah, neither do I. That's because there wasn't a President Gore. George W. Bush was the president. They tried this with the Dewey-Truman election. Does everybody know who President Harry S. Truman is? You do? Does anybody know Dewey? Nope, unless you're talking about DuckTales. Woo! Nobody knows who Dewey is. I couldn't even tell you the guy's first name. I'd have to look it up. But the classic newspaper headline, Dewey defeats Truman, because everybody was just so sure that Dewey was going to trounce this guy. So the media does have a history of jumping out ahead and projecting winners. I don't want to say I'm not surprised. I am disappointed. God, not even disappointed, though. I'm not surprised in Fox News jumping ahead and declaring Arizona early. I think Fox News has always been very conservative establishment at best, and at worst, with the personnel changes they've been having lately, the new vice president, the liberals that they've been hiring on, the atrocious Chris Wallace, who's never liked Trump, with the exception of Tucker Carlson and Judge Jeanine and some of the opinion shows. It's pretty much trash. I am a Fox News hating hipster. I was hating Fox News before it was cool. So I'm not surprised that they jumped out ahead of this and tried to declare Biden a winner when he's not. And they still won't reverse that. Even though Arizona is close now, they're still not going to reverse it. And the states that aren't close, that Trump has won in votes, they're still not declaring it for him. They're just trying to, what they're trying to do is they're trying to run down the clock and get in everybody in America's heads that Joe Biden is the president-elect. Again, like I said, this is called gaslighting. You just tell a lie, you tell it often, you repeat the lie, you repeat it with confidence, and challenge the credibility and mental stability of anybody that's daring to question the lie. Very useful tactic. The media has been doing it for decades. And the Democrats have been cheating for decades. The Democrats, I think, have always cheated at elections. There's always been voter fraud, election fraud. Like I said, I've been screaming about voter fraud, election fraud for years now on my podcast. The frustrating thing is nobody does anything about it. So, I mean, I can understand why we're frustrated. I can understand that we're watching all these states turn red while we're watching the election map on election night, and then all of a sudden, everybody stops counting all at once. All the states that matter magically stop counting. So, yeah, I can understand the frustration. Speaking of somebody frustrated about it, I got to give a shout-out to my girl, eGirl Propaganda 420, who did a rap on this on Rap Chat. If you don't know what Rap Chat is, it's a cool little app where you can, come up with your own raps. They provide the beats, and you provide the rhymes. So I thought I would play this for you because I thought it was, appropriate. So give that a listen.
So, Joe Biden won. You're joking, right? Because last time I checked, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Michigan were all red. Oh, it's true? All those votes in such a short period of time seems kind of sus. Oh, there's no fixing it? Fuck. Slow Joe. Poor old Joe. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. This is elder abuse, it's no use. Stop bullying Joe, it's not him. No. Kamala Harris is holding the strings. Nancy Pelosi is guiding the wings. On this plane on fire. I'm so tired. We've already lost. There's no use. It's over. And this plane of America is toast. Their plans will turn America into the West Coast. Oh no. Crashing, the plane goes like the economy. When we stay inside all our lives. Feeling like big introverts. It's no use, can't find the words. All the Democrats are a bunch of rats. Hail Mary on this bitch, we need to jump off the ship. There's no use. it's all over. I'm sick and tired of the shit, you stupid bitch. Haven't slept in a week. What did you think would happen when you mail in votes on fire? This situation's dire. This is elder abuse, it's no use. Stop bullying Joe, it's not him, no, 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 no. Kamala Harris is holding the strings. Nancy Pelosi is guiding the wings. On this plane on fire. I'm so tired. Oh no, poor old Joe. The economy is dead. Kamala knows how to give some pretty good head to Joe. Slow Joe. Oh no, they will take away free speech. Feeling pretty bad all week. Turn America into a monarchy. Free speech, no the king. Fascist society turning into the thing. They burn down buildings to destroy. All the commies turn into red coats. America into the west coast. Chaos ensues. No backing the blue. It's over. This is elder abuse, it's no use. Stop bullying Joe, it's not him, no, no. Kamala Harris is holding the strings. Nancy Pelosi is guiding the wings. On this plane on fire. I'm so tired.
So thank you again to E-Girl Propaganda 420 for that rap. She told me I could use it on the show. I really liked it. It's beautiful tragedy, you know. She also has an Instagram, but I don't know if she wants me to shout out her Instagram name or not. So be keeping that portion private. But that's kind of where we're at. The temperature from people on the right now are like, you know, where do we go from here? Like, what do we do? But like I said, I don't think we're down for the count just yet. Even though, actually, I forgot to mention this. For any of my fellow iPhone users, go ahead and try using Siri and ask Siri how old the president is and see the result that you get. I thought this was BS going around on social media, so I tried it myself. And it proceeded to tell me how old Kamala Harris was. And I was like, man, a lot of foreshadowing, including a Yahoo News article that came out yesterday stating that, hey, what happens if the president dies before he's inaugurated? And I'm like, no shit, guys. You're really... I mean, we all knew if a Biden presidency happened that he wasn't going to be president for long. I swear, it's like, you know, banana republic, third world dictatorship type stuff going on here. If Biden does become president, I'm going to hate that. I don't like to be right on these things, but remember a long time ago when I was like, the person that I'm most scared of is Kamala Harris? And I remember saying that on my podcast and on other people's podcasts. God, I hope I'm not right on that. I hope I did not, you know, Nostradamus that. But anyway, there's still a lot of states in play. And so we're not down yet. So nothing's been counted, nothing's been tallied. Court cases are being filed. Poll watchers are being let in. Whistleblowers are coming forth, and I mean a lot of whistleblowers are coming forth in a lot of these swing states. There's postal workers saying, hey, the postmaster made me roll back the date on my postmark and postmark these ballots so they would come in on time. Not to mention just the obvious 500,000 ballots showing up for Joe Biden. In a lot of these swing states, a lot of them the ballots just have Joe Biden on them. There was no down ballot voting, which is ridiculous and doesn't happen. There's people talking about Democrat operatives that went into nursing homes and to the dementia patients and started having them fill out their ballots and sign their ballots and stuff like that and telling them how to vote. And when the people in the nursing homes questioned it, they didn't get an answer. The people just left. So anyway, there's a lot of chicanery going on. We are catching a lot of it. Because Democrats always cheat, there's like this fraud margin that you have to overcome when you're a Republican, which is sad. But We always know they're going to cheat, so we have to get over like the fraud margin. So the Democrats did a full court press, and I think got really, really ballsy with the fraud, so much so that I think it's going to be caught. Now, this is being reported in the main conservative outlets, which I was a little shy to report about at first because it sounded kind of like Alex Jonesy, but there is a program, there is an algorithm that changes these voting machines and changes their tallies for one candidate or another. It's Hammer, and the other one's called Scorecard. These things are in place. They are in these voting machine programs, and they can flip votes. And what's funny is this stuff is used for the CIA, for election integrity, or not integrity, I guess, at other countries. I know this all sounds like black helicopter stuff, but even like, Charlie Kirk and like the big conservative Inc. people are reporting on this. There's a retired general that's come forth and talked about it. The only part that I don't believe, and Conservative Inc. has not reported on this, nobody's reported on this, the only part I don't believe, but I'll go ahead and share it anyway, just so you have the information. Supposedly this is a big sting operation, and Donald Trump is finally going to flush the toilet on all these swamp rats, and all the good ballots have this encrypted CFS watermark on it that only the powers that be can tell what they are. I think that sounds a little ridiculous. Again, the same thing with Kamala Harris and my predictions. I would be 100% happy to be proven wrong on that. But yeah, the trust the plan, Q stuff, all that stuff. If there's a plan and there really is a watermark on the ballots and all that shit, it better materialize pretty quick. I don't think Trump is too worried about this. I mean, took a few days off and he's playing golf. I mean, wouldn't you? You did like how many rallies a day for months? Worked your ass off? Yeah, man. Go play some golf. But he doesn't seem too worried about this. So I know he's got tricks up his sleeve. I just don't think, a psyop by the CIA is one of them. But hey, whatever. Could be proven wrong. Some more good news. If this is challenged, the election is challenged, and it does go all the way to the Supreme Court, we have a couple of justices on the Supreme Court that actually fought the Florida election debacle between Bush and Gore. That's Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh. John Roberts was also a Bush appointee, but I don't really count John Roberts. He does whatever the establishment tells him to do. Because of Chief Justice John Roberts, we still have Obamacare. So don't take much stock in John Roberts siding with the conservative side of the courts. Again, I hate that we have to call courts conservative or liberal. They should just be courts. But that's, unfortunately, how it is. So if it does go to the Supreme Court, the Republicans have the advantage of the Supreme Court. If the electorate gets tied or gets challenged, believe it or not, the Republicans also have an advantage in the House, because the House would end up picking the president. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, Ronald, the Republicans are down in the House. Nope, not how it works. How it works is per state, the representatives per state. If you go per state, our representatives, Republicans hold the advantage. And so that would be a good thing if that happens. And it looks like it may go that far. Like I said, I know Trump's not going to give up. And ironically, any Democrat that backed Trump, that like flipped and backed him, they're not giving up either. Vernon Jones, who like flipped and started supporting Trump because of his historic outreach to the black community, he did a speech the other day that like should have set a fire on everybody. And he said, "Democrats, we are on your ass." I loved it. It's ironic that Democrats are fighting harder than the Rhino Republicans are for Trump. Now let's give Senator Lindsey Graham, let's give him some credit. Let's give credit where it's due. He's fighting. He's putting himself forward. But a lot of these other rhinos are super quiet right now. Yeah, the rhinos and the establishment types are all partying right now, celebrating, because Trump put a challenge out to American politics and American establishment to try and get things back to the way how it worked before big money, big tech, idealistic leftism and communism took over. So that is problematic to all of those classes, including conservative Inc. And so I think the wheat is really going to be separated, as it already has been over the Trump presidency. Now Trump is really going to see who his allies are and who's had his back this whole time and who has not. And I have people like my buddy Anish in India, who has his own politics, his own podcast, The Sign of the Dollar. He said, why can't America do their elections like how we do here in India? It's electronic, everything's verified, yada, yada. I've had some other people ask me that too. The problem, well, the answer to the question is the establishment doesn't want it to be fixed. They don't want vote. They don't want... sorry, an alert. They don't want voter ID. They don't want it fixed. They like the problem being how it is. That way they can manipulate the vote like they're currently trying to get away with. If we had these things in place, it wouldn't be a problem. And like I said, we've done some part to weed out voter fraud, but not really, and not enough, and not on a grand scale. And it's very frustrating that if you look at a lot of these individual cases that like Project Veritas is talking about, and like I said, even Conservative Inc. is talking about it now, you'll see where these people got, if they got caught with voter fraud, they either get, a slap on the wrist, have to pay a fine, community service for a couple years, but not like hard time federal penitentiary type of things. Like I said, one of the most famous examples, Brenda Snipes in Broward County, she just had to resign from her post. And that was it. She just walked away. So I don't know why our side of the aisle thought there wouldn't be fraud in this election, because the Democrats are getting more and more brazen with it because nothing's happening to them. If they get caught, they either turn it around on the other party or nothing happens to them. So why wouldn't they be brazen? Why wouldn't they be trying to steal the election and stack the decks in their favor? And the media has been so complicit in helping with this. Like I said, they're just a gaslighting tool for the Democrats right now. And I cannot believe... I wish I had the ability to play video clips on the podcast now, but I can't. You would not believe CNN Van Jones and the crocodile tears, the soliloquy that he put out on when Joe Biden was projected the president-elect. He was shedding these crocodile tears, and now we can finally begin the healing, and I can look my kids in the eyes, and all the hatred, and I'm like, hey, you guys were the one dividing people and making people hate each other. You guys were like throwing gasoline on the fire. Anyway, oh God, it pissed me off. But maybe it's better that I don't play the clip then, because I was so angry watching it. Because this man, Van Jones, he's either, like I said, with liberals, there's only two explanations. They're either drinking the Kool-Aid or they are serving the Kool-Aid. And I think there's a third classification now that I've thought about it. I think you can be a liberal and serve the Kool-Aid for so long that some of the Kool-Aid, spills off the cups and lands on your skin, and you start actually believing the bullshit that you're peddling, that you actually believe this crap that you're peddling. I think you tell the lie for so long that you believe the lie. And when I say Kool-Aid, of course I'm talking about the culty stuff of the late 60s and like drinking the Kool-Aid and you can, go to heaven and stuff like that. But yeah, the liberals have been serving the psychedelic Kool-Aid for so long that I think they really are starting to believe the lies that they peddle. And like I said, I'm not surprised on the rhinos calling the race. But here's some things that we're going to have to come to grips with moving forward, no matter what. So here's the first thing. I've heard this analogy used before on other podcasts, and I'm going to try and make it my own, because there is a very scary truth that none of us, as free thinkers, right-wingers, conservatives, whatever you want to call us, ex-Bernie bros, there's a scary truth that none of us are acknowledging. And that is, we're exposing all of this, calling all of this out, and we have been for years. Like Project Veritas has been on top of this for years now. Like busting people just cold in their tracks on camera, trying to get away with shenanigans, with election meddling, voter fraud, badgering people, the Acorn, like abortion clinic, human trafficking scandal, just straight up busting them, and then nothing happens to them. So I've heard it said before on other podcasts, it's like being in a boxing match, and you're boxing the other guy, and you're dominating. Like, obviously you're the better fighter. And then the guy you're fighting, instead of using boxing gloves, just pulls a crowbar out of nowhere and starts beating you with it. Obviously, you can't do that in a boxing match. So you look around to the ref and you go, "Whoa, dude, he's got a crowbar. He's got a crowbar. You can't pull a crowbar. You can't do a crowbar in a boxing ring. Hey." And then guess what? The referee goes, I don't see a crowbar. That's your opinion. I think that's fake news. I think this is Russian propaganda in the media. The ref just looks the other way. Obviously, yeah, the ref is the media. So here's the scary truth that we're going to have to face. Yeah, we're calling all this stuff out. We're going, look, see? But guess what? The media, the legacy media, social media, big tech, they're still the ones that put all this stuff out. If they are disinterested in learning the truth, and at worst case don't want people to know the truth, what's the point of calling out all the bad behavior to the referee? That's going to be a scary thing that we're going to have to acknowledge, that we're exposing all of this stuff and that nothing is going to happen. What happens to your enemy when you're exposing the enemy for all the corruption and then nothing happens to them? They get bolder. They get more brazen. They produce 800,000 votes in one district. You see the pattern? So nothing's happening to these people. And this is another part that people like myself and everybody on like my side of the aisle are frustrated about. Like, we know this stuff goes on. And we're like, okay, there it is. Go investigate. And nothing happens. Nothing gets investigated. And everything just kind of goes on like before. And for everybody going, hey, why didn't Trump get involved? Why isn't Trump getting... He said himself why he didn't want to be involved. He's like, this is law enforcement. This is their bag. I don't want to influence law enforcement to do their job. I got to give them, the evidence. America's got to give them, we got to get the evidence, and then they prosecute. It's a nice tactic. It sounds good, but that's ultimately not going to win the battle, because you got people like Christopher Wray at the FBI, who just as bad, if not worse, as Jim Comey and Andrew McCabe, who's at best slow walking all of the corruption that happened with the Bidens, the Clintons, and yes, Barack Obama himself. The Spygate stuff is so clear. We have so much evidence that they did dirty dealings, that they did dirty stuff, and nothing's happening to any of these people. Nobody's being perp walked. So that's truth number one. That's something we're just going to have to come to grips with, that maybe nothing will happen. Which segues me into part two. What do we do then? Well, I don't know what that looks like. Obviously, there's so many people on my side ready to go to either metaphorical or actual war over this. I don't know what that looks like. I honestly don't. But I can tell you this, normal, regular America is getting tired of being pushed around. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if the big igloo is going to pop off or what, but if I do have any leftists listening, the way you could 100% stop it is to come clean and Donald Trump gets his second term. At least that way things might get resolved peaceably. Because people are coming forward. One of Google's trending topics was, what was the exact, I can't remember the exact wording. It was something like, can I get in trouble for election fraud or voter fraud or something like that. That's been a trending topic for days now. So people in these precincts know that they did dirty. And I think a great tactic for President Trump would be just to give a press conference or do like an address and be like, hey, we know you did this stuff. We can either put all our cards out on the table or you can come clean, start whistleblowing, and then we can go from there. Again, that takes me back to truth number one, though. Even if we catch these people with a freaking bloody knife in their hand stabbing somebody, they'll be like, that wasn't me. It was somebody else. So we're going to have to come to grips with that. And then, like I said, part two of that, where do we go from there? How do we move this ball forward? I'm not really sure. But it's not looking good. I don't mean the election for us isn't looking good. I mean how we handle the left going forward doesn't look good. I've said this before on my other podcast. We're 40 years too late to the culture war, and we are starting to fight it now. But I honestly don't know if it's too late to do the culture war thing or not. I hate even entertaining the thought that something bad might, pop off and there might be some kind of like civil war. But the two ideologies can't exist anymore. Leftism and conservatism, or even just free thinking. Like liberty and tyranny can't exist. Let's take it that way. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know that no one on my side of the aisle is going to be able to accept someone that cheated to get in there as their president. And any of you libs going that we need to just, smile and turn the other cheek. Yeah, where were you guys for 4 years? You didn't do that. You didn't even give Trump a chance to be president. And in spite of all of your caterwauling, yelling at the sky, and all the other dumb shit that you've done with Russian collusion and all this other stuff, impeachment trials, the man has still produced the strongest economy in American history, historic black unemployment, historic Hispanic and Asian unemployment, booming economy, 3 Middle East peace deals, talks with North Korea at least, settling down of Iran, ocean cleanup. I mean, I'm not even going to get into like all the lists of things he's done, and that's in spite of you guys being against him. So you guys can suck a duck for all I care. So anyway, that'll probably do it for my ramblings today. But like I said, keep your chin up. We're still in this game. We're still fighting. I'm not saying that to give you false hope. I'm saying it because it's true. We're still in this fight. Litigation is happening. Supreme Court's in our favor. The House is in our favor. We've actually got a lot of things in our favor right now. So keep the faith. Keep fighting. Go to these rallies that are happening. If there's one happening in your state or close to you, go to these rallies that are happening. There's people that are going to peaceably assemble at local, state houses and stuff like that where the election is in question. And I think that's a good way to show support. And then the country sees it. The president sees it, for that matter. And I think that's good. I think it's a good thing to get involved with. Yes, give money. These legal battles aren't cheap. I've been getting the texts from various, conservative entities. I'm still careful about the ones that I give to, because like I said, if you're some rhino trying to get money, no, you can miss me with that. But anyway, so things are still heating up, but things are still in play. So I remain cautiously optimistic about everything, and I think you should too. Again, shout out to my girl, E-Girl Propaganda 420 for the rap. I am on Rap Chat. I'm on there as Publitarian. I have not produced any rap as of yet, but I am on there if you want to follow me. I mean, I got rhymes. I just don't do it all the times. Oh boy. Yeah. That was bad. But anyway, I think that will do it for me on this edition of Publitarian Podcast. If you want to reach out to me, you can. I am publitarian@gmail.com or thepublitarian@gmail.com. I'm on all of the social medias. That is until we get, shadow banned and sent off to the gulags. Haha, just kidding. But anyway, things are still looking good for us. I just wanted to jump on here and tell you guys not to give up hope just yet. We're still doing it. We're still in this thing. And just keep fighting the good fight and pay attention and call out corruption and BS when you see it. All right, guys, I'll see you next time on Publitarian Podcast. Take it easy. Listening to Publitarian Podcast. Copyright 2020.